started. Hello everyone, welcome. This evening we are going to be talking about essential oils. We're going to be talking about a peppermint essential oil. We're going to get down deep into it. I'm going to talk about so many different things when it comes down to peppermint essential oil. And for people who are here for the first time, my name is Lori Faulkner. I'm a holistic women's health nurse practitioner, and through Women's Health on the Go, I offer video consultations for women for their women's health needs. And I definitely can talk about holistic and natural remedies, lots of different ones, and one of them included is essential oils. So definitely, if you want to, womenshealthonthego.com. But for tonight, what we're going to be talking about is we're going to be talking about peppermint essential oil. And basically, if you were here the last time that I did this show, I kind of went really in depth into everything, and I'm just going to give you a little bit of a breakdown of what we're going to be doing, okay? So I'm going to be talking about peppermint essential oil, the background, a little bit of a history, the Latin name, how it's processed, the safety concerns, then we're going to talk about the emotional and the physical properties that it can help with, and we're going to talk about medical conditions, and of course we're going to be talking about women's health issues that it will help with. So I'm really excited to get going here, okay? But before we can go start, I got to put this out there, everybody. It's a medical disclaimer. All material provided in this video is provided for information and educational purposes only, and it's not intended to substitute the advice of your healthcare provider. It is not meant to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any kind of diseases, and statements made in this video have not been evaluated by the FDA, and we're not making any medical claims here, okay? Also, when it comes to essential oils, the International Federation of Aromatherapists does not recommend the internal use of essential oils unless you are being followed by a medical provider who is knowledgeable when it comes to essential oils. Can essential oils be taken internally? Yes, but you have to make sure that you are not just consulting anybody, but someone in a medical field, okay? And if you are pregnant or breastfeeding, make sure that you talk to your healthcare provider before you start using essential oils, okay? Peppermint is okay when you're pregnant, but there's lots of them that you might not be able to use when you are pregnant. So please make sure that you talk to your medical provider before, okay? And so who's excited to learn about peppermint essential oil? Come on, people. I can see I got people watching here. Come on, I want to hear from you guys, okay? So peppermint essential oil. Okay, let's talk about the history, okay? With most of these essential oils that I will be talking about, herbs have been around for centuries and centuries, and peppermint is not different than any other one of them, okay? They have been used for medicinal purposes. They have been used for cooking as well in the Roman times, Egyptian times. So this is something that's not... When I'm talking about herbal medicine and essential oils, for the most part, they've all been around for a long time. And peppermint is really a common one that that's been used for centuries and centuries. We have a Latin name. Now, I did talk to you a little bit last time, but if this is your first time watching the show, when we talk about essential oils, when we talk about even like lavender or peppermint, those are our common names that are used, okay? Now, in the last show, we talked about lavender, how they had different Latin names, lavandula augustifolia, lots of different kind of names. Peppermint is basically one name, but I think it's always important for us to know what it is, and that's menthol piperita. I'm sure that I'm pronouncing it not correctly because I'm horrible at pronouncing things, but that is the Latin name. So when you're finding, now of course it's part of the mint family, and there's like spearmint, there's forest mint, there's water mint, there's different kinds of mint, but we're just talking about plain peppermint. Now some people will say that peppermint is a hybrid, meaning like there was two different species and they came together to develop peppermint. And they're looking at the research and the background of it. There's some people that says that it's got a hybrid of watermint and spearmint. And then there's other people that say that that's not the case. So, which is right, which is wrong, I don't know. But that's where the literature and the history talks about. The plant part, when we talk about the essential oils are processed in different ways, and there's different parts of the plant that are processed depending on the plant. So when it comes to peppermint essential oil, it's the leaves, and I'm going to, let's see if I can do this really, really good here. Hold on one second. I'm using this new system, and, you know, I'm getting there. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to, hold on one second, I just want to show you, there we go. Okay, so this is peppermint. I just did a Google search. We're not talking about the peppermint candy, everybody, but we're talking about the plant. And you can just see all the different kind of pictures. Here, that's a really nice big picture of peppermint, just so you can get an idea of what that kind of looks like. And it's very easy to grow peppermint. I don't know if anybody's ever grown peppermint before, but I have. I actually found one time this chocolate peppermint that was oh so good. But anyway, so that's what the peppermint plant looks like, and it's the leaves that are steam distilled in order for us to get the essential oils, okay? Now, when I talk about phytochemical components of an essential oil, which if you've seen, again, in previous shows, I sort of kind of broke it down, but there's phytochemicals, which means that there's chemicals found within the plant. And each essential oil and herb has different breakdowns of phytochemicals. Now, when we're looking for an essential oil, when we're going to the store, or I like to buy essential oils online. With store, you don't know how long they've been stored on the counter, if there's been a sun exposure, there's lots of different things. So I tend to kind of encourage people to go online and buy them from actual people who produce them. Well, not produce them, but they I guess you could say produce them. They put them in the bottle. They get them from the distiller and they put them in the bottles and they sell them to you. Some of them online, when you go online to their website, you will see that they have what we call GS and MS testing, okay? And what that is that essential oil is taken through a machine, and each phytochemical is actually extracted from it, and then they can figure out how much of each phytochemical is within the essential oil. And this is a good way to make sure that it actually is a good essential oil. Because sometimes essential oils are called what we call adulterated. And what does adulterated mean? It means that it's not really peppermint essential oil. They just put a little bit of other magic stuff in there and it just smells like peppermint, but it's not really, you're not going to get the medicinal properties from it because it's not in there. There's nothing in there, okay? So when we look at peppermint essential oil, there's two phytochemicals that are very prominent in an essential oil. So I'm going to show you GS-MS testing results from, I think, 2 different websites, just so you can kind of say. But we're looking for methyl, which is usually typically around 40%, and then methylone, which is around 25%. Now, when you look at, I know I showed you this book before. Wonderful book. If you ever questioning safety, this is a pretty expensive book, but if you ever have a question about essential oil, please reach out to me. I would be more than happy. I would rather you message me to find out if this is a good essential oil for you than to use something that could be harmful. Okay, so this is a great book. It talks about all the safety, and we're going to go into safety of peppermint essential oil. But Robert Tisserand, he breaks down all the different, also inside this book, about what the percentage of the different phytochemicals should be in an essential oil. Okay, so I'm going to go, whoops, I got a tick here. and I'm going to do this again, and then I'm going to share with you. Oh, here we go. Perfect. Okay. So this is Plant Therapy, okay? I went to their website and I clicked on their Peppermint Essential Oil, and then I also, they have the reports, and you can see here, you can see, now this is like, they make this look kind of really pretty, but this is, when you go down below, this is the actual report that they get, which can be, this is Essential Oil University, Dr. Robert Pappas. He writes a lot of information about essential oils as well. He's pretty knowledgeable when it comes to essential oils. And you can kind of see the report, like if this is essential oils broken down, it's all the different components and how much is in the different, look at all these different phytochemicals that are in this essential oil. But again, when we're looking for what we really need, now I'm going to just go up above because it's a little tiny, that's tiny print. But when you looked at that, if you look down at that report before, you're going to see that the methyl is about 45.9%, which is good. Remember, I said around 40% approximately. It could be a little bit more, a little bit less. And then the methylone as well is about 22%. We said around 20%, so that's another good thing. And I know that the 1,8-cineol is around 5%. So this is you can see right here that this is a good essential oil. And the one thing I like about plant therapy is they also they work with Robert Tisserand, and he actually he just does a smell test kind of thing. It's not that he's doing any actual testing, but he's very, very, very knowledgeable about essential oils. Okay, and now this is another one, okay? This is a little bit tinier for our eyes. This is Aromatic International. They also have their GS MS testing, okay? And you can kind of see, because I know I had it situated before, but here's you got your methyl, right? 44.97%. You got your methylone, which is about 14. It's a little bit less than 20%, but they say in Robert Tisserand's about around 14, I think, to about like 28%. And then I know that I saw, and here you go. Here's your 1,8-cineol at around 5%. So this is something that you really want to think about when you're buying your essential oils, okay? And I always talk about these, I talk about making sure that they're testing and making sure that you're getting a good essential oil when you buy them, okay? So when we're talking about peppermint, you want to look at those testing, make sure when you purchase them, and you want to make sure you have the methyl and methylone there, okay? Now, the aroma, I don't know if you've ever smelled peppermint. I love peppermint. It's very invigorating. It's very, it's cool. It's refreshing. I don't know if you've ever had peppermint leaves in your tea. If you get like tea, it's very cooling. It's kind of strong. It can be. I got my peppermint right here. This is one of my peppermints. This is from Eden's Garden. I actually didn't show you, but they have their testing as well. But when you smell it, I love it. It's very minty, obviously. Cool, refreshing. It's a really nice smell and aroma. Okay. All right. So how's everybody doing? I hope you're all enjoying this. Make sure you say hello. Tell me if you have any questions. Give me an emoji, thumbs up or something, just so I know everybody's doing okay here, because I can see that there's some people here with me. Okay. Let's talk about safety. Okay. This is a huge thing that we should all make sure that we realize safety with all essential oils. Okay. Now, because of the methylone kind of content in it, it can be irritating to any mucous membrane, okay? Therefore, you don't really want to it could be irritating. Some people put it like in a little bit of water to wash out, like to do like a mouthwash rinse, and that's fine. But if you just put it directly inside, you may get a little irritating. You don't want to put it inside your nose. You definitely don't want to put it down near your vagina, okay? That's a woo, no, don't do that, okay? For infant and children, you do not want to place it anywhere near their face, okay, especially around their eyes, their nose, like nowhere around their face, okay, because if you do, they can actually, when they inhale it, it can cause respiratory issues with them. It can cause spasms. It can cause, it can be neurotoxic, which is basically toxic to the nervous system. So you want to make sure if you're using it on children, don't even do it on, well, if you're going to use, don't. I do not really talk about use of essential oils with infants and children because I deal with adults. But if you do plan on using them with any children, make sure 500% you talk to your healthcare provider before. But I can tell you definitely with peppermint essential oil, nowhere here, okay? And even if you're going to use it for yourself as an adult, I would put it nowhere. I mean, when I have a headache, I may put it like, on my temples or on my forehead, but sometimes even the aroma gets around my eyes and it can be like really, whoa. It can be irritating. And I'm an adult, so I can't imagine what it would be with a child or infant, okay? If you're taking it with, I would not suggest, I would use some caution if you're taking antacids, that I would definitely not use it internally because it can dissolve the antacid a lot quicker, and you're using it to prevent heartburn, and it actually can cause you to have heartburn and a little bit of nausea. Okay, for those people who have GERD, which is gastroesophageal reflux, I would use caution on oral use, and also calcium channel blockers, which is a cardiac medication. If you're taking a calcium channel blocker, and if you take the peppermint essential oil orally, it can potentiate your calcium channel blocker. So it's going to make it like if you're taking, we're just going to say 50 milligrams. I don't know the exact dosage of what you're actually taking, but let's just say 50. Then it may potentiate, which make it like working at 100 milligrams. Okay, so definitely, if you're going to do peppermint orally, which again, if you are, make sure you speak to your healthcare provider prior to, then definitely caution with GERD and with calcium channel blockers. And it is contraindicated to take it orally if you have cholecystitis. I always mess up these medical words. But anyway, that's a condition of the liver, which either stops or slows the flow of bile acids, which is important for digestion. So if you have that, do not take peppermint essential oil orally, okay? For contraindicated for all routes, okay? When I say all routes, I mean topical, inhale, oral, anyway, okay? Is one, cardiac fibrillation, which is an irregular heartbeat, which is usually often rapid, okay? You can cause problems with that. And also if you have what we call G6PD deficiency, okay? And that's a blood disorder. It's when it's breaking down the red blood cells. If you have it, you're going to know that you have it. I'm not going to go too much into the medical condition, but if you have cardiac fibrillation or if you have the G6PD deficiency, then peppermint essential oil is contraindicated for all of those. Okay, so that is the end of the first segment that we're going to go to. We're going to go into the second segment, but again, I can see there's some people here. Even if you're watching this in the post-show, please leave some comments, say hello. If you have any questions, I'll still get the comments. I'll still be able to respond to you. So make sure that you post and say hello, okay? All right, so let's go into I want to go, to me, let's kind of break it down. You have emotional, the way that it can help you emotionally, and then there's like physical kind of properties, okay? So emotionally, okay, if you think about peppermint, to me, peppermint is invigorating. It clears the energy. It's going to uplift my mood, I know. It's going to give me a boost of energy. It's going to help reduce fatigue. It's going to awaken us. It's going to freshen us. It's going to enhance our mood. It's really going to emotionally lift you up. It's just going to completely lift you up. It's going to, like, if you're feeling tired and you're getting towards the end of the day, do a little bit of peppermint. Like, we can inhale it, we can diffuse it. I'll go over all those kind of things. And it's really going to help you. It's going to boost your energy. It's going to give you a little extra energy. It's going to boost your mood. You're going to be just feeling like, like, to me, peppermint is like on a hot day, and I'm just so tired because it's hot and it's sunny, and I'm going to do some peppermint. I'm going to be like, I'm ready to go. That's what peppermint essential oil does for me, and it does for a lot of people, okay? All right, when we're talking about physical properties, I'm going to be just talking in general, like meaning it's an analgesic. What is an analgesic? It can help with pain relief, especially like when you have a headache. You can put it on here. It's almost like kind of numbing on your forehead when you do it, okay? It's anti-inflammatory. It's going to help with any inflammation. There has been research done on peppermint oil to show like it's antibacterial, antimicrobial. It has been shown to be sensitive, and when I say sensitive, meaning that it can eradicate, it can get rid of bacteria such as E. coli, staph. It's really good to like put in your kitchen. I mean, I know that I have a cleaner that I recommend, that I also have a video for a recipe, but you can also use peppermint. I put lavender in there and a little bit of orange peel, but peppermint is another great antibacterial. It's antifungal. Woo, love it. You have a little fungus on your little feet, put a little bit of essential oil in the water, put your feet in there. That's cool, it's refreshing, and it's going to be nice and antifungal. It's antispasmodic. We're going to talk about later about how it can help with muscle pain and muscle release. It's antiviral. It's an astringent. It tightens and contracts tissue. It's what we call a carminative, which would help possibly with a little passing of the gas. It's very good for that as well. And it's cytotoxic. This is where it's very interesting. And I know that I talked about this with the last essential oil. Now, again, we're not telling you that this treats, cures, or prevents any medical disease or anything, but there has been some research. There was this research done in China on peppermint essential oil that was done in China, and they did it against certain cancer cells. They were lung cancer, liver cancer, and I think it was colon cancer and leukemia. And they found that the peppermint essential oil was actually cytotoxic, which means toxic, kill the cancer cells. Okay? Again, I'm not saying that it's going to cure cancer, but it's something that we need to do more research on these things when it comes to cancer, because some researchers are actually showing that it helps kill these cancer cells. And I think that we really need to put some effort into that, right? It's going to increase circulation. It's a central nervous stimulant. It's going to, again, how we talked about energy-wise, it's going to increase your alertness, your energy levels. It's cooling. Which I think most of us, like I said, on a hot day, we may want to have some peppermint tea, like cool, like peppermint leaves, or even just some essential oils just on our skin. It's going to be nice and cooling. It could be a decongestant. It's going to help rid of the mucus if we have a cold. It's going to help be an expectorant. It's going to also remove excess mucus as well, and it's also going to help reduce fever. Okay, so those are the kind of physical properties. Ooh, excuse me. But let's talk about like how they can help with certain situations, okay? So we're going to talk about muscle discomfort, okay? If you have aching legs, if you have aching legs, your muscles are sore, if your back is sore, if you're really tense and you have like really muscle soreness right here, you want to get like a carrier oil, put some essential oils in there, and you're going to want to rub it. It's going to be cooling. It's going to be anti-inflammatory. It's going to give you a little analgesic. It's going to give you a little pain relief. You put it in your, like if you're having muscle, like legs and cramps, you put them on there. If you're having lower back pain, it's going to be another great thing to use, okay? If you're having respiratory problems, let's suppose you're it's cold season, right? It's coming up, people. It's coming up. Peppermint is going to be great. Now you got to think, remember, it's going to antiviral properties and antimicrobial / bacterial properties, and it's going to be expectorant. It's going to be help with decongestion. So a great thing to do with that is you can put carrier oil like here, just like, like a vapor rub. Instead of vapor rub, putting a little bit of peppermint essential oils. You can do inhalation. I know that I showed you these before. These are little kind of inhalers. Okay, and you know what? This is really interesting. I read about how there is this aromatherapist, and she was talking about how, plastics have a lot of not good stuff for us, right? So there was a aromatherapist, and she's like, I'm trying to eliminate plastic completely out of my life. And as much as I love using inhalers, they're made of plastic. So she had this great idea, and I think this is so wonderful. So this is like just a glass container, and I don't have it filled like she does, but what she does is she takes like coarse Himalayan sea salt. She gets coarse and she puts it in here, and then she just puts a couple of drops of her essential oil on there, and then she keeps it closed so that you want to keep that aroma in there. Whenever she wants to, she just opens up and she does that aroma. And what I love about these blue ones is it reminds me of it. Does anybody know what this reminds them of? Vicks Vapor Rub comes in blue containers as well. So this is just a great natural way to actually get like decongestant, help clear out your lungs, and it's more natural. Okay, so that's going to be your respiratory kind of health one as well. I don't have it going today, but I know that I've showed you guys before. My diffuser, you can put it also in your diffuser in your room as well. It's great for, we already talked about an energy booster. It's going to help fight fatigue and invigorating. You can put a little bit with, carrier oil on your temples. You can put it on your neck. You can put a little bit on your wrists so that you're smelling it whatever you're doing. And then they also have necklace diffusers. I don't personally have one, but they have a little necklace, and it has a little charm on it. And then you open it up, and it's got like a little, like a cotton little round thing. And you put your essential oil so that you're constantly smelling that, and you're getting that invigorating, beautiful, refreshing properties of peppermint essential oil. I love peppermint essential oil. I don't know about you guys. How about you guys? You guys like peppermint essential oil? Come on, let me hear from you. Let me hear from you. Okay, headache relief. Okay, headache relief, you can do it with eucalyptus, you can do it with lavender, and again, like depending on what type of headache you have. If you have a tension headache, you're going to have all these muscles back here are going to be like sore, and they're just going to, you're going to feel the tension going right up the back of your neck. Get a little bit of a carrier oil, put a little bit of peppermint, get a eucalyptus or get lavender, and put it on there and just put it around your neck, put it on your forehead, put it on your temples. Be careful. Remember, nowhere's near your eyes, okay, or in your nose or anything like that. Okay, you want to be careful. That's definitely, because I know that once in a while if I get a headache, I will put it up here and I'll put it right here. And with peppermint, because of like the methyl kind of components of it, sometimes my eyes get a little sensitive, and it's like, ooh, and you do not want to, no, get it in your eyes at all, okay? So please be careful if you're applying peppermint essential oil to your head, okay? Please, 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 okay? And again, if you have a headache too, you can always put, if you're going to lay down in bed, put a diffuser next to you and diffuse that next to your bed. A digestive soother. This is one of the biggest things that people use a peppermint, whether it's peppermint tea, eating the leaves of it, or a peppermint essential oil. A great thing to use with peppermint as well is some rosemary. It's going to help relax the muscles in the intestines. It's going to reduce bloating. It's going to reduce gas. It's going to help with nausea. Sometimes, too, if I ever have a little bit of a heartburn or anything like that, I take a little bit and I just put it right here, right in between. Heartburn gone. I love it. Okay. If you are going to put it on your belly, I always tell anybody, if you are going to rub your belly at all for any reason, go clockwise. You want to go the root of your intestines, okay? So you want to, if you think about the way your intestines go, on the right side of your body, from like your groin area, it's going to go up the right side. It's going to go across right underneath your ribs, and then it's going to go back down, and then at the exit route, okay? So you want to keep that flow, the intestines and all that stuff that's in there. You want to keep the flow going in that direction. So you don't want to be turning it back, because then you're going to get all constipated. So I always tell people that when you're going to use the essential oil on your belly, and if you put it in there, you can use a little bit of rosemary. You can do, with the peppermint, a little carrier oil. Rub the Buddha belly, okay, everybody? You want to make sure that you're going in that direction, okay? Itchy skin. Okay, so I don't know, for people who have known me, I think, it was about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I unfortunately got a little poison ivy, and oh my goodness, was it itchy. And what I did is actually I have a little spray bottle here. I got a little spray bottle, and I put some essential oil in there with some distilled water, and I just kind of sprayed it on there, and sometimes I would rub it in there. With itching, oh my gosh, it helped so much itching. You can do it with a carrier, depending on what the skin condition is, because depending on, like poison ivy, you want to help dry it. You don't want to provide more moisture to it, so you don't necessarily want to use a carrier oil. That's why I used a little bit of water, because you want to kind of let it air out and dry out. But depending on the skin condition, if you're having any kind of itching, that's another thing that you can kind of use on there, whether it's with a carrier oil or, again, with the little spray bottle, okay? For your mouth, for your teeth, putting a little bit of water after you brush your teeth, putting a couple of oils, drops of oil in there, and then whooshing it around in your mouth like a little mouth rinse. It's going to help with your gums. Remember, anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, antiviral. Gum disease is linked to heart disease. And there are people also who talk about, gum disease related to a lot of medical conditions, because we're eating stuff and bacteria get in our mouth, and when it gets into the sockets around the gums, it goes right into our blood system. And so we want to make sure that we have good, healthy teeth, and we want to make sure that we go to the dentist and make sure everything's good. So a great thing to do, as well as, I don't know if anybody heard of oil pulling. Oil pulling, you can take any kind of oil. I personally do coconut oil, because coconut oil has antibacterial, antiviral, and antifungal properties. And I take a little bit of that. I put a couple of drops of peppermint essential oil. I put it in, and I swish it around in my mouth. Try to swish it around as much as I can for, I don't know, everyone, there's lots of different things. Some people say 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. I do it for as long as I can stand it. And then I don't spit it out into the sink, because you don't want the oil clogging your drain. I spit it out. You have to make sure you spit it out, because if you swallow a little bit, it's going to make you sick. I've done that before, and I think it's because when you're doing the oil pulling, you're getting rid of a lot of bacteria and crap in between your gums and your teeth, and it don't taste too good. But that's another great thing that you can actually do with peppermint essential oil. Acne. Some people do, I make a facial wash. And one of the things, you can use other things like frankincense and patchouli, which will be oils that we can talk about in the future. But sometimes people put just a drop of peppermint as well, because it's cooling. It's got that, remember, antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral. It's got all those great properties for the skin. It's an astringent. It contracts kind of skin a little bit for us who are getting a little old. For us who are getting a little younger. That's what I always tell everybody. I am only getting younger. I'm not getting any older, okay? So those are kind of things that you can use for general health. But what about when it comes to women's health? How can we use peppermint essential oil? Peppermint essential oil is great for when you have your period, okay? Let's talk about when we have our period. Depending on the month, we can have, sometimes we get stomach problems. Some of us all have to go to the bathroom about 3 or 4 or 5 times in an hour in the beginning, right? Because of all those hormones and stuff like that, okay? So peppermint, and I usually use a peppermint with rosemary. Again, I mentioned that before. And when I was having those kind of days, and I rub it on my belly, remember? Rub the booty, the Buddha. Rub the Buddha clockwise, okay? On your belly, okay? It's really, really good for that. It's very, very good. It's good for that bloating that you get with your period. It's going to help with the bloating. It's going to help with the gas. It's going to help with your GI symptoms. And then it's also going to help with your cramps because it's an antispasmodic. It's going to be great. So, essentially, if you're going to do some kind of blend for your painful periods, peppermint is a great one because it kind of covers a couple of things that are going on with us when we have our period. We have GI, we have maybe we're going to the bathroom a little bit more than we would like, especially on the first day. We're having bloating and we're having cramps. Peppermint essential oil, wonderful for it, okay? Then let's talk about the other end of the spectrum, and that would be menopause. Menopause, I've got hot flashes. Oh my God, wow, this is too hot, this is too hot. Remember, peppermint essential oil is cooling and refreshing. A great thing to do is make yourself a little spray of peppermint and some distilled water, and when you're having a hot flash, like spray it all over, okay? And it's going to help cool you down, okay? Pregnancy. You can, sometimes when people are pregnant, they get leg cramps. Of course, it's always important if you do get leg cramps that you see your medical provider to make sure that nothing else is going on, but leg cramps can happen during pregnancy. Peppermint, a mixture of peppermint and lavender. Ooh, put them on the leg cramps. It's going to help antispasmodic, anti-inflammatory, both. I mean, lavender has a lot of anti-inflammatory. Oh, just love lavender, but it's both of those kind of essential oils are going to help with those leg cramps. Now, when it comes to the beginning of pregnancy, unfortunately, some women will have a lot of nausea and vomiting. And for those who especially do not want to take medications, there's lots of great little things that you can do, which I'm not going to go into all of those things, but peppermint essential oil, ginger tea, getting regular ginger, grinding it, and like making like a tea. You can even then, after it's been brewed, drink it a little bit, sips throughout the day as it gets cool. You can do peppermint tea. You can do peppermint essential oil on your belly. That is another great thing to do. Inhale the peppermint essential oil. I even recommend people for doing peppermint gum, because you've got that peppermint taste in your mouth, and then where you're chewing, you're actively causing reaction in your belly for certain enzymes, stomach enzymes. I can't think of the word right now, but sometimes that helps with the nausea as well. So that is pregnancy. One more thing that I can do help you in pregnancy. Sometimes we're in labor, we've got lower back flavor. Oh my gosh, and our back is just sore and it's not fun at all, okay? So that's another great thing. Get yourself a little carrier oil, get a little peppermint essential oil, have your partner rub your lower back while you're in labor. So that's another great thing that it can help you with when it comes to women's health. So that is about all when it comes to peppermint essential oil. Well, it's not all. This is a great introduction. As you all know, I always love to come on here and give you an introduction to something new when it comes to women's health, or to help educate you about a medical situation that you guys are going through. So I hope that tonight was just a great introduction to peppermint essential oil. Okay? I love peppermint. I think it's a wonderful remedy. It really, really is. I'm telling you, lavender and peppermint, if you're going to pick, you need to pick, if you are only allowed 2 essential oils, get lavender and peppermint. I think those are great starters, and they both can do a lot of great things. Okay? So, and if you have any questions, please make sure, nobody's really commented tonight. Usually I get people commenting. So, make sure that you comment. If you really like this show and you can think of Aunt Edna or somebody that's going to really enjoy the show, tag them below, or if you want to share it on your feed, that would be so wonderful. I want to spread the love of this show and everything that I do to as many women as I can out there. So please help me share this show, share my babbling for a half an hour. And if you want to get reminded of future shows, we come on every Monday night at 8 p.m. Next week, we're going to be having a guest. We've had her before. Her name is Millie. And Millie and I are going to be tackling, I think she's going to be coming on a couple of times. We're going to tackle different things to help you as women to become healthy. So we're going to be seeing her next week. So I'm really, really excited. But if you want to get show reminders, please comment reminder. That's all you need. And little Facebook through Facebook Messenger, you're going to get into the kind of system. You're going to get you have to go to it. You're going to get a text. It's going to say, hit remind one more time. And then you're going to get it. And then each week, I'll send you a reminder via your Facebook Messenger. It's a great little system. And I love it so far, and I have a lot of people on there already, so please come and join us every week. So again, thank you very much everyone for watching the show, and I hope that you enjoyed it, and we will see you next week, everybody, okay? So take care, everybody. Bye-bye.